Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneakers Cleats podcast. It is Monday, September 15th. This is episode 226. Matt Roy, Chuck Miketinac, Don Harris, everybody here. Full cast of characters on this Monday. Chuck is very well traveled. You have
Chuck, tell us about your weekend.
Yeah,
I will. I think we'll get to that in time. Right?
Well, yeah, we have a whole rundown. It's basically where Chuck's been.
Okay.
Chuck was at the A&M Notre Dame game, so we're going to talk about Aggie football here. What a win for them.
He was
on
at Wrigley.
Saturday. He was at Wrigley on Friday, and we won't talk about baseball here because that's just not what we do. But and then yesterday you were at the Cowboys game, which was a debacle in and of itself. So we'll get all into all those. It was
a debacle for the Giants.
It was a debacle for everybody.
No, it was a debacle for the Giants. You get a win in the NFL in week 2 when you had to have it. The closest thing to a must-win game in week 2 as you could have for the Cowboys, for the Giants too. But hey, man, winning ugly. Sometimes you got to have a win and ugly.
Fair enough. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, both News 4, Fox SA, download, rate, review the podcast version, wherever you get your podcasts. We will get into all of that. Cowboys pulled off the narrow win over the Giants, despite allowing 450 yards passing to Russell Wilson. As a Bronco fan, that hurts me to say because that shouldn't happen to anybody. We'll go around on some of those talks. Plus, is Brandon Aubrey the best kicker that the league has seen in the past 10 years? I think we can make that argument now after seeing what he's done this year and last year. Plus, one of the best college football Saturdays we've had so far this year. I would argue the best Saturday, and Chuck might have been at the best game. So we'll talk about Notre Dame and the Aggies, plus a little bit of Texas and Arch talk, plus a little bit of UTSA, UIW talk, plus maybe a little bit of a preview of the Houston Texans playing the Bucs night football. That game just 4 hours away or so. So, guys, everyone have a good weekend. Don, how was your weekend? I know Chuck's was world traveler.
Mine was fantastic.
Fantastic? What'd you do?
I took a brief timeout from not being on my sofa watching football to go down to the Pearl and enjoy the beautiful San Antonio day and lunch. But for the most part, my weekend was spent on the sofa watching football.
That's exactly what I did. I think I was on the couch for like 13 hours on Saturday. It was great.
Football's great. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help when ASU plays the 9:30 game. Like, I started at 11, and then ASU played the 9:30 game.
You mean Texas State played the late game?
No, I mean ASU.
How did that one turn out?
Texas State is not on the same level as Arizona State.
What was the final?
A lot to a little.
Okay.
37-19, something like that.
Yeah. Plus 19, I think, in favor of
38-19, 37-19, something like that. And it wasn't that close.
Okay.
Yeah, much to some of our coworkers who were talking smack as Texas State Bobcat fans. Yeah.
Have we earned the right to do that?
That's what I said. They were going around going forks down and everything. I was like, what have you guys done? Nothing.
That was kind of like the Browns talking smack about the Ravens game.
That didn't go well either.
Chuck Matt has obviously never laid out in the sun on the banks of the
Sewell Beach.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Because although Arizona State is Arizona State in that regard. So maybe that's the one school that
I can't argue against that.
Yeah. We have the one thing that Bob loves, the scenic views in Arizona State.
Well, that's what we're talking about at Sewell Beach there at San Marcos.
All right, let's get to the rundown. So, for area code, Don, did you cheat this time?
No, I didn't, and I don't know.
226. Anybody? This is actually relatively close to Bob.
That 226.
Akron.
That
more north than that.
That might have been my.
More north than Akron?
Was that my
Cleveland?
Is that the
Seatown?
Akron Cleveland area?
Huh?
Is that the Akron Cleveland area?
Oh,
what is it?
more north than that. It's Ontario, actually.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
They have area codes. in
Apparently,
Canada?
I didn't know that. I just looked it up while we were sitting here.
I certainly wasn't thinking that Akron/Cleveland was close to Ontario.
Southwestern Ontario,
But I guess
Canada,
if you're
covering
from
major
around
cities:
here, maybe.
London, Windsor, Kitchener, and Guelph.
Windsor, Ontario is like literally 5 miles from Detroit, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
I think so.
Detroit, yes. It's London, Ontario, right?
Yeah, that area code covers that too. I don't know if people like the area code game or not, but I like it, so we're gonna keep doing it.
I do too.
All right, let's get to the Cowboys here. Cowboys beat the Giants.
Hold on, before we do,
Okay.
since we're talking numbers, okay, Can we just all agree that there is no way that the Cowboys should have given out 33? It's being worn by Javonte Williams. The Cowboys don't retire jerseys, which I like that. But they don't give out 12. They don't give out 74. They don't give out 8. They don't give out 22. 33 should be in that category. When Tony Dorsett retired, he was second only to Walter Payton. He ran for over 12,000 yards.
Yeah, but can you retire a number if you're not the greatest in that franchise's history? Like, he's not the greatest running back in Cowboys history.
Yes, he is. Well, Emmett is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I mean,
Emmett's the best running back in Cowboys history. Are you going to retire the second best running back's number?
you don't retire his number. You just don't give it out.
What's
Bob
the
Lilly-
difference?
There, I mean, David
that's the same
Robinson's
thing.
not the greatest big man in Spurs history. Tim Duncan is, but they both have their jerseys numbers retired.
But like, if you had a choice at their prime to take Emmett or
Dorsett.
Can I put Tony behind the offensive line that
that's
Emmett
what I'm
ran
saying.
behind?
I think Tony Dorsett's a better running back.
Maybe. Tony Dorsett ran for a ton of yards, man. He was a great player. Anyway, I get 88 because it's a thing, right? You give 88 to the
Pearson,
next
yeah.
great player.
Yeah.
And 54 is interesting because it's both Chuck Howley and Randy White. See, I think Randy White's the greatest defensive player in Cowboys history. But they give his number out. I just don't think they should give out 33.
Well, then at that point, retire.
Like they haven't.
Retire the number if you're not going to
They don't
give
retire
it out.
numbers. But
Well,
they haven't given it out before. That's what was weird.
Well,
to
they do
see
have
it.
5 running backs on the roster. So.
Yeah.
I mean, is Jaden Blue actually on the roster at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shout out Tony Dorsett, man. I'm just saying.
Let's get to the game here. 40-37 in overtime. Brandon Aubrey saves the day twice. The only kicker in NFL history to make a field goal with 0 time on the clock in regular time and 0s on the clock in overtime to win the game. So, Chuck, you were there. Give us some main takeaways. 6 lead changes in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it went in 16-17 going into the fourth and ended 40-37. So, it was a hell of a fourth quarter in overtime. But tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, the fourth quarter and overtime obviously saved us from ourselves from having to watch the first 3 quarters of that football game. We were sitting at halftime going, is this the worst, most poorly executed first half of football you've seen by either team in the history of you watching NFL football? The Giants had, I think at halftime, 11 penalties. It was really, really hard on the eyes. So for the game to go from that to that fourth quarter and then the shootout at the end with the ping pong going back and forth was really, really remarkable. And, you know, taking copious notes during the game, I literally only had 2 game notes from the first half thinking, how am I going to tell this story, win, lose, or draw? At the end of this game, it was so bad. That's what I was thinking at halftime.
Was one of the game notes, good Lord, number 55 is horrible on the Giants.
Stupid. He
had
he's an
5.
idiot.
Didn't he have 5 penalties on the opening drive?
So, there was a bunch of players, I will keep them nameless, that I was thinking that of because of there was just busted coverages, bad coverages,
Well, if you
just
pick,
bad everything.
if you pick anybody in
yes.
the Cowboys secondary, you can be like bad second.
Yes, I didn't want to name any names, and because it is a team sport, right? At the end of the day, some of these things we don't know. Was it a busted coverage or was it just a bad individual play or performance on that play? So, as a performance, there was a lot to be desired by the Cowboys on defense as a collective, right?
I think Brady and the play-by-play guy that I'm forgetting his name, Joe Davis, were doing the game, and there was a play, I think it was on the first or second drive that the Giants had, where there was 5 penalties on one play, and he was like, "My limit's 4. I don't even care about the 5th one. What is the 5th one of?" And it was when CD got the pass interference, and he pointed at him, the taunting, and it was like, "What the hell are we watching right now?" There was a flag at every 10 feet on the field.
3 were against the Giants, and 1 was against CD, and so the whole thing offsets.
Yeah, which is so dumb. Like
That's an interesting rule.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But James Hudson III, the left guard,
left tackle.
The 4 penalties on the one drive is the first time that's ever happened on one player in this century.
I thought Garrett Bowles was bad.
The Browns got rid of James.
That tells you how bad he is. But he is a backup. He's filling in for Andrew Thomas. They needed to take
The
advantage of
head
that. I
slap
think it
was
was 4-12 at the end of the game. 14 for the Giants, 12 for the Cowboys. It was just a poorly executed football game.
Look, and we should all be, if you're a Cowboys fan, you should celebrate a win. It was great for Brian Schottenheimer. It was great for Brandon Aubrey. Dak was really good at the end. But my takeaway from that game was these are two really bad teams giving us a really fun game. But equally bad teams playing equal football. But if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm really concerned moving forward.
Let's hear from Dak, Shoddy, and Jerry after the game.
It's a confidence builder. It's momentum. All of that in hand, especially coming, from the first game where we played well, we battled, but you didn't win. We didn't take advantage of the 2-minute drive at the end of the game last week. To be able to come into this week and really be a completely different game. Shootout there to the end, had to go in overtime to do it, but to be able to finish off and get the win against a division team, this definitely is going to carry over.
At the end of the day, we made enough plays as a football team to win this game in the final minutes. And, again, I think, that's what the story should be. We got a chance to fix things, and we need to fix things. And whether we win or we lose, we're going to fix things. And tomorrow's meeting will be a long one. There's going to be a lot of things to fix on both sides of the ball, special teams, and certainly coaching.
I'm so proud of our guys for staying in there. Obviously, they could have slacked off at any point there over the last 30 minutes. Didn't do it, won the game. Can't tell you how proud of them.
Historic high.
What are you saying?
Oh, that came out over the air?
Yeah.
So I was going to say,
that's why I needed to
kudos to anybody that was able to permeate the cell that was forming around Jerry Jones, because that was at a historic high yesterday in terms of amount of cameras and people around Jerry. I was like 18 people back on that, just observing and trying to even get a picture of that. What was going on was impossible.
It's hard. That gaggle at the end, right? Because he does it right in front of the Cowboys locker room. There's no room to stand, and it's completely unannounced, even though we all know he's coming out at some point to talk to the media. Everyone's just standing there waiting, and then everyone bum rushes him.
But now it's their film crews around him everywhere, and there are multiple film crews. There are film crews at every angle of that. There was even a film crew doing what I was doing, which was just getting a picture of the gaggle.
Yeah. So let's get to the
quick observation on Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't look well.
I mean,
Jerry's changed in the last year.
He's 82 years old.
He's put on a ton of weight. He looks very pale. And I noticed yesterday he didn't know the overtime rule.
I didn't know the overtime rule.
That it could be tied?
I didn't know that. No, I knew that it could be tied. I didn't know that both teams got a possession now for sure.
Yeah, that changed last year. But the fact that he didn't realize that it could end in a tie. He goes, I guess if he didn't make that, they were saying that the game would just end. And they were like, yeah, Jerry.
That's the rule.
And he seems he didn't move around as much in his box. It's almost like he doesn't have too many people sitting close to him anymore. I don't know. I'm worried about him. He doesn't look well.
All right, so the good, the bad, the ugly from the game. The good I put is Brandon Aubrey. I mean, I don't know how you can.
Right. Well
he's a weapon. He is.
It doesn't even compute.
He's the best kicker in the league, and it's not close. Like 2 is so far down from him. When you're seeing guys like Borgalis in New England who missed 2 extra points yesterday, when you're seeing Will Lutz miss a 40-yarder to put the Broncos up by 5. Don't talk to me about the Bronco game. I'm still salty. You see guys like going in and out of places everywhere, and then you just have 64 yards. No big deal.
When your line to gain in overtime or in regulation is the 50.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
You know
he can
what I'm
make
saying?
it. You have to get across the 50-yard line, basically.
He was good from 74 yesterday. That 64-yarder was good for another 10 minimum.
Yeah, he hit that, and I was like, it takes a special kind of kicker. There's been a handful of kickers in the history of the NFL where you send him out there and you're like, this is going in. I don't have to worry about it. He is one of those. He's Justin Tucker in his prime right now.
The ease of which he strokes the ball and the velocity that it takes off his foot, the 46-yarders, so routine, and they're usually, if you were to take a tape measure across the goalpost, it's right there.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Are we allowed to cuss on this show?
Sure.
No.
We're not?
No cussing.
Okay, well, is James Houston allowed to cuss on this show?
What'd he say?
Well, let me play it for you. So James Houston's walking off with Brandon Aubrey last night. James Houston played well too, but
You got.
It was just funny.
In case anyone didn't hear,
Brandon
you got
Aubrey's
ice
walking
and
off with defensive guys coming off the field. Man, all protection for Brandon Aubrey for sure.
Yeah, he's a treasure, man. He's gonna get paid soon too. He is the best kicker in the NFL.
They just paid him, right? I think
He's gonna get paid again.
Upcharged him.
Went to Dallas Jesuit High School, never played football, played soccer at Notre Dame, played minor league soccer, professional soccer, got cut. Sitting on the sofa, I think he's selling software in Houston, and his girlfriend and him are watching a football game, and they watch the kicker miss an extra point, and she says to him, "You could do that." And so he hires a kicking coach that was in Houston, and as he's selling software for 3 years, he kicks a couple of days a week with this coach, tries out for the UFL, was the best kicker for Birmingham or whoever in that league, and just was never a football player. He's the very best at what he does.
He's something else, man. He's like, I haven't known what it's like to have a kicker like that on my team since like Jason Elam was a Bronco. But like, good Lord, you just send him out there and you're just confident it's going in.
89% of his kicks.
They said 25 of 28 from beyond 50.
Yeah.
That's freaking bonkers.
89% total.
That's so nuts. From beyond 50, that's a chip shot for him now. Like, what? Anyway, the other good I have written down is Shoddy getting his first win. It's not easy to win in the NFL, even though this was ugly. It was a very ugly game for most of it. When you're allowing guys wide open in the secondary, it's hard to win those games. And Russ, when he's throwing up moon balls and their guys are coming down with them, it's hard to win. And they ended up pulling it out. So first win for Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach.
What would we be talking about today if Cooper Beebe goes out in regulation, Brock Hoffman comes in, and he and Dak fumble the snap, which they did, and Dak doesn't recover that. Ball takes a different bounce, and the Giants recover and win in overtime. Are we talking with the same fervor for these Cowboys?
No, because it's a win is a win.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I was discussing this with another individual while we were watching this fourth quarter unfold, and it was like, can you imagine what it's going to be like in this locker room? I mean, who wants to go in there when they lose? And it went from that to, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you that we don't have to go in there. And
let's hear from
these guys.
Let's hear from Dak and Shoddy about Shoddy's first win.
I was talking to my dad as well, and how about this? My mom on Friday afternoon went to the airport, fell in the airport, broke her arm. So, Mom, I love you. I know you're watching. I know you're proud, but kind of stinks she wasn't here for it. But I know she took one for the team, and she said, "Hey, I'll be all right. I'll take my meds and be ready to go." Look at this guy.
Told him that game was the epitome of him and his coaching style, just the resiliency he has and the way the way he carries himself, the way he coaches. The standard's the standard, and at the end of the day, that's winning, and that's what this game, the end of it was. And credit to him. We're behind him. He deserved that first win. Tough one to get. Fun one to get, very fun one to get, and I know he'll never forget it. I won't forget it. I'm sure every guy in that locker room won't forget this.
Yeah, I mean, I won't forget it because it was a crazy game, but it's hard to get a win in the NFL, Chuck, and it's even harder when things like that happen. So I was impressed a little bit by the Cowboys' perseverance of that game because they could have quit a long time ago.
Yeah, and they had to make a lot of big plays, as you all saw, down the stretch multiple times to force overtime, to take the lead, whatever it was. I thought 88's game was remarkable in a lot of ways because it was quiet and sneaky in a lot of ways. And then 3, that guy gives them another dynamic. The game is way too easy for him. He's so long, he's so smooth, he's so fluid. And I asked him after the game, did it feel like it was all you could eat for you out there? He goes, I feel like that's the way it has to be in my mind every time I go out there, especially late in the game. I mean, I think they learned a lot about themselves of what they can do, and maybe they need to attack like this instead of trying relentlessly to establish the run. And I get it. That paid dividends for them too late in the game. They were able to run the ball successfully. But, maybe be more in an attack mode, attack vector to start games like they had to be late in that football game in order to, keep up and then ultimately win it.
I will say I'm more impressed with Shoddy 2 weeks in and the efficiency and the operation that the offense moves at than I was with McCarthy. They had the one time management issue at the end of the half where they probably should have gotten another playoff and maybe even a field goal attempt at some point. But other than that, there was a lot of diversity in the offense. They lined up Turpin in the backfield. They threw it to Turpin. They got Ferguson the ball. CD seemed to be always open at 15, 20 yards. The play calling in and out, the communication with Dak seemed to be smooth. I noticed that he's gotten rid of. Here we go.
It's just quicker now.
It's quicker, but he only uses it a few times. There's some differences, but I think if anybody was worried about Shoddy calling plays and being the head coach, I think that's going to be fine. They run a pretty smooth operation.
Shoddy's a guy that I think everyone has started to just like root for. Like he seems like a genuinely good person and dude, and so I am not a Cowboys fan by any way, shape, or form, but I'm rooting for Brian Schottenheimer because he seems like a good stand-up guy.
He's got a Ted Lasso quality.
Yeah, that's actually a really good comparison.
And it's obvious, too, where the money is in this franchise, right? The money is on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to win games possibly like this
40
down the stretch until there's some continuity on the defense. I mean, I think I mentioned in the story last night. I mean, there were a couple times in this game where there were 9 guys playing defense for the Cowboys yesterday. They weren't even on the team last year. So, some of this is going to be a work in progress for them.
At certain points, it looked like there was only 9 guys on the field because dudes were running wide open. So the bad in this game I have is the Cowboys' defensive backfield. Bob made fun of me the other day for saying I like when my corners cover and stay in front of guys. And I feel like that's what you want to do as a cornerback. And Trayvon Diggs is making $20 million a year and getting guys run by him. So Trayvon did not have a good game. I can't actually name a secondary player that did have
Nobody
a good game.
did.
So, I think to your point, the Cowboys' run defense through 2 games is much improved, right?
Oh, yeah.
They completely shut down the Giants' running game with the exception of one run from your boy.
Cam Scattaboo, baby. First NFL touchdown.
One run, that was it.
Dude, he is a bowling ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's better than advertised, right? So
Better.
Kids for real.
But they were not good, obviously, on the back end, to put it mildly, but they're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback either. So you have compounding problems there. But again, this is going to be a work in progress, and it's going to be a week-to-week thing. So, very cool that they've managed to focus in on and stop the run, but now other things are starting to pop up that they're going to have to improve on.
Well, at a certain point, a scheme has to change. You played 100% zone last week, and you were getting burned until the second half after that weather delay. You played 97% zone this week. Something has to change. Apparently, guys don't know how to play cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. So you're going to have to play man at some point. Like, you have to switch things up, or these defenses or these offenses are just going to kill you.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some adjustments. There's no question about it. But again, there were a lot of guys yesterday. There was a lot of hamming and egging going on because guys were coming in and out of the lineup. Some of them were because of injuries. Some of them may have been because Matt Eberflus was pulling personnel and putting other players in.
And some we'd never heard of.
Kyer Elam.
That's fair.
Kyer Elam, we just saw the stat before we came.
What was his name?
Kyer Elam, the guy that we were praising all offseason or all training camp for playing much better and actually drawing a lot of praise from Matt Eberflus and the coaching staff. He's allowed the most NFL receiving yards in the NFL. Like, you can't win games like that consistently. Kyer Elam is allowed 232 yards of offense by himself.
And to Chuck's point, you lose Micah Parsons and you say you're better because Kenny Clark can start the run, and they probably are better against the run. But with no pressure on Russell Wilson,
who is the easiest quarterback to sack in the NFL.
No pressure whatsoever. He had all day to throw. And then the brilliance of Jerry Jones is the first thing Jerry wants to talk about after the game is we signed Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
If you guys are worried about the pass rush,
we're going to get to that one.
It's on its way.
Go ahead, Bob.
That may be the perfect little segue here. Raul's comment is, so we stopped the run, and now the pass is our problem. Does Clowney help us?
You can't hurt him.
It can't get much worse. Because when you're allowing 450 yards to Russell Wilson and Malik Neighbors is a top 10 receiver in the NFL. He's going to get his. You're allowing Wan'Dale Robinson to moss you run wide open down the seam for that go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. If you don't know your defensive assignment, like you're either in cover 3 or in cover 2, he's not supposed to be running alone.
Nobody should ever be running alone.
No, like
yes, no matter what the defense.
And Trayvon
is.
Diggs gives up, and he looks at
Sounds
the safety
like a country song.
He looks at. You don't even like country. I don't want to hear you talk about it.
Plug it into AI and see what we come out with.
If Trayvon Diggs is looking at the safety during the play like this, it probably shouldn't happen. The ugly I had written down was the penalties. We already talked about it. We don't have to get to that. Let's talk about Jadeveon Clowney for half a second. Good move, bad move. Would you have signed Jadeveon Clowney? Does it move the needle at all?
Yeah, we'll only time will tell.
All right. And last
he
thing,
did have 46 tackles and 5.5 sacks last year, which is not bad.
Last thing I got is, do you come out of the game encouraged if you're a fan of the Cowboys or discouraged if you're a fan of the Cowboys?
I'm discouraged.
I'm encouraged. I would have been discouraged. In fact, I think James Houston had a great quote on that. It's like, this would have been a tough one to lose. And he goes, you're not kidding. I mean, this was a division game, counts as 2. So I'm encouraged. They stole one at home. Hopefully they'll be better next time out.
Yeah, you can't start a season 0-2 to 2 divisional losses.
I'm glad they got the win, but it's against the Giants, and they were less than impressive.
Hey, Cam Scatterbu almost got that win for
that,
him.
And a team that had a pretty good defense last year. Obviously, they were pretty good through 2.5 quarters of this football game till they weren't.
Man,
so
their D-line,
there's some things to build on.
Their D-line's really good. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Brian
Good
Burns.
Lord.
Golly.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's get seeing 0.
Let's get to rapid fire college football here. We're starting in South Bend. Chuck, what a game for your family's Aggies.
It was, and it was, my family's Notre Dame too, because my dad went to Notre Dame. I didn't root for anybody. I was completely Switzerland on this one. I swear to God.
We needed to get you a shirt.
I was taking video of my family during the game.
Torn, yeah.
So
we need to get you a shirt that says, I hope both teams have fun.
We saw a few of those, like you normally do, right? Where the jerseys are split in half. In fact, I sat next to a man who, Notre Dame grad, roughly our age, not Matt's age, obviously.
Old.
But decked out completely in Notre Dame gear, lives in Houston, recently moved to Houston within the last 5 years, Notre Dame grad, 2 Aggie children next to him. I said, okay, what's the story here? I got to know what's going on. He goes, my son tried to get into the Notre Dame School of Engineering, couldn't get in, so he's at the A&M School of Engineering.
What does that
which
say
he said,
about
which
A&M?
is but he said it's actually A&M's engineering school is actually rated higher than Notre Dame's. Anyway, long story longer. So he's got a son who's an Aggie, and then his sister, who is now mad at Notre Dame for not letting the son in. She's now Team Aggie too. So it was really, really cool. Everybody around us was unbelievably respectful, nice, put up with my uber Aggie son who had comments every now and then, but all in good fun.
I heard that. Shireen Williams was talking about how friendly the Notre Dame faithful are.
It was a remarkable experience. If you've never been to a football game at Notre Dame Stadium and just all the buildup before it, little things like just walking around, going into the grotto, and then they have a mass pregame. Apparently R.C. Slocum, the old Aggie legend, was at mass before the game. I mean, just cool stuff that, keeps everything in perspective. The crowd was amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. Win, lose, or draw, even Aggie fans would agree that that was a heck of an experience to be able to go and see for yourself.
Is it a turning point for Aggie football, having that win under your belt? Because you kept saying it's Aggie syndrome, thinking that the world's coming down.
Battered Aggie syndrome, right?
Syndrome.
Yeah, because they were ready for the sky to fall on the extra point after the game-tying touchdown was made. Well, I'll use my son as example. Sorry, Kate, I hate to hang you out to dry. And then, oh my gosh, they've got 2 timeouts left, and they've got a good quarterback, and all this good stuff. I don't know. I'll let you know after Auburn. But I think from a signature standpoint, right? A&M needed a game like this to be able to win on the road against a ranked opponent. I mean, and Aggie fans did travel well. There was a huge Aggie contingent in South Bend the entire weekend. We even saw them at the Cub games. The Cub game on Friday. By the way, shout out to whoever in the organization for the Cubs. That was such a nice touch. In between innings in the 5th, they played the Aggie Warham on the in-house organ, and it was just a really nice human touch.
That's cool.
Why would they have to do that at Wrigley Field, right? I mean, they just probably saw all the Aggies running around there. I mean, the whole experience in that part of the country where everybody seemingly is uber friendly, shout out. We all enjoyed ourselves.
Awesome.
It's good to hear some great news.
As far as the Texas Longhorns go, they beat UTEP 27-10 in a uninspiring performance. Don, are you worried about Arch?
Yes. Arch has the knoblocks. He has the Chuck
yips?
knoblocks. He has the Rick Ankiels. He's got the yips. His arm slot is different. His feet are not set. He waits to patch the ball too long and then tries to just throw everything 100 miles an hour at guys behind guys. They've got to settle him and slow him down. They have a bye week and Sam Houston, so they have time to do it. But you go back and look at his tape from last year. This is not him. There's something off. I think I'm encouraged that they can fix it, but they haven't figured it out yet, and we're 3 games in.
Yeah, I mean they have Sam Houston next week, and then they have a bye, and then but then you got Florida in Gainesville, and then you have Red River. So
no, that's what I'm saying. They have 2 weeks to fix it.
You have 2 weeks to figure it out. Are you panicking a little bit with Arch?
No, but I think this is probably we're in uncharted territory, right? Where the player has to meet the brand, right? The brand is unachievable more than likely with how ballyhooed he was coming in, the family that he comes from, and he's learning how to play big-time college football for the first time and being the guy with the keys, all that. So he's not trusting what he sees, I think, at this point. You know, and I did not see the last game, but what I've seen up to the last game is he is holding the ball too long. You don't have time to go, oh, that's open. Is he really open? Yeah, he's open, and then throw it. That's not going to play in the SEC or anywhere, quite frankly, even against a non-SEC opponent.
I know Waldron over at UTEP has those guys playing much better than they have in the past. They're building something over at UTEP, and I think that Scotty Waldron is doing a good job. Malachi Nelson is a decent quarterback, but when you're playing against Texas, you're expected to lose by 50, and Arch is not. He's just not living up to.
He's got guys wide open on 10-yard
and he's missing it,
and he's missing them by 5.
And then the pick that he threw in the end zone was just inexcusable.
That's a dumb play. But you remember he had 2 starts last year,
yeah,
and was good
at home.
This is not the same guy that we saw. There's something going on in his head.
All right, so UTSA beat UIW 48-20, and to be honest, it wasn't that close. UTSA really dominated that game. Something about Robert Henry in the third quarter as well. I mean, another 70-plus yard run in the third touchdown run for Robert Henry. It's the 3rd consecutive game he's done that literally in the first minute or 2 of the third quarter.
His first touch.
The other 2 were the first play of the third quarter. This one was his first touch in the third quarter about 2 minutes in. So does this get UTSA on the right track, Don?
Yeah, I think kind of like the Cowboys. It doesn't fix everything, but it shows you that, you know, it just gets a win under your belt. The McCown kid, who was Arch-ish and had some issues, seemed to be calmed down and had worked through his progressions faster. Robert Henry is the leading rusher in the country.
He's making a case to get drafted.
Yeah. I think from a scouting perspective, he's their best back that I've seen. He's better than Sincere from a scouting perspective. He's a little bigger, a little firmer, a little faster.
He's older though. He's what, 24 now? He's in his 6th year.
I think he has a chance. I don't know get drafted, but I think he's got a chance to play.
Yeah, I mean they've got Colorado State coming up, and then they have a bye before they start American play.
They're favorite at Colorado.
The American is no joke, man. North Texas. Did anyone look at the North Texas game? You're mean green.
Yeah.
Holy Nikes. Yeah. They won by 60.
Yeah.
They were only favored by 6.
Eric Morris.
Good God. They destroyed the team that they were playing. I forgot who they were playing. Oh, was it Washington State? It's Washington State. They killed Washington State.
His old school.
Who else is it? It's
South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida's great. Tulane's really good with Jake Retzlaff. I mean, that is no joke, man. Memphis Temple's even better. Temple obviously lost to Oklahoma, but they're better this year. So that's a really, really tough conference. I think if USF obviously has the inside track after beating Florida to get the play-in spot for that conference or the Group of 5 spot for the playoff. But man, that's going to be really tough. I think they might get on the right track though with UTSA. Anything, Bob, before we get out of here?
Tom Guerrero's in the house and he has a comment.
Tom.
Shout out Tommy G.
He said, funny, Facebook fans are saying Arch is adopted.
Bob, do you want 30 seconds to tell us how bad the Browns are or no? It might take more than 30 seconds.
You know, Dylan Gabriel looked great at the end of the game.
In mop-up duty.
He looked fantastic.
How about Jackson Dart's necklace?
Hey, what was
Come on.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
What was
there's
it?
a lot
Dude,
of
I so wanted to ask Cowboys in the locker room. Like the first thing I would do if I was a defender, if I had tackled that kid, I would have ripped that necklace right
What was
off
the
his
necklace?
throat.
It was about
It's
50
all
carats of diamonds.
that were this big, and I don't know if they were cubic zirconia or what, but
Jefferson's
not a
I
good
guarantee
look.
that. Yeah, Justin Jefferson does the same thing.
Well, I don't care. I mean, but it would speak to the inner sanctum of my inner soul. It had that kid on the ground and go.
You're going to pull in a Keeb Talib?
If I'm playing and somebody's got jewelry like that, I try to rip it off, right? Also, if somebody's got like the long dreads, gotta go
Tackle
try
him
to
from-
tackle
Hey,
somebody
whatever
with
it
You
red.
takes.
actually
right?
can do that.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yeah, it's legal to do that. Even though Troy Polamalu tried to get it outlawed, didn't he, back in the day when he had his hair like that?
Man, what great hair.
Yeah, honestly, the flow of Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we got for you down the Sneakers Cleats podcast. Remember, download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell a friend, tell an enemy. We'll be back on Thursday with more. We'll see you then.